One of the things that comes through, and you alluded to that a couple minutes ago, and that is his focus on the team and not wanting to take attention away from the Celtics and not wanting to detract. And he mentioned that in a couple of his interviews. Is that perhaps the thread that ties him together that people don't realize about particularly team sports and athletes in team sports, just how much that sense of teamwork and being motivated by the team keeps them focused just on that?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that I haven't heard sort of addressed. And I think that's a really keen observation. That, and I think it goes both ways. That his calling card. I mean, his stock and trade is that he's this team guy. He doesn't take a lot of shots, and he does the dirty work. And I'd written that he has a game ball in his house that's prominently displayed. And I looked at his line score from that game when he got the game ball, and he had 1 point and took 0 shots, but he had, blocks and rebounds, and his plus-minus was something like 26. And I think that actually had a huge role in he did not want to be a disruption in any way. And I think the flip side of that is there's this real sacred sense. I think Jason has this sort of real sacrosanct sense of the locker room, and I think the flip side of that is he expects that as long as he's a good teammate, people aren't going to care about his sexuality.
John Wertheim, how does this change the NBA? I mean, Phil Jackson prominently said not too long ago that he didn't know of any gay players in the league. Well, now he knows of at least one. What does this do to the league, and how do you think it changes the game, if at all?
Well, I think that the sort of the reaction Monday and the responses coming from not just from Kobe and Steve Nash, but from players you've scarcely heard of support, I think really reflected well in the NBA. I mean, I think the second part of the story, honestly, is as momentous as Monday is, we need to see this guy in a uniform. I mean, the next chapter is Jason Collins suiting up, and I think that I do think it's when and not if he plays in the fall. I mean, I think there's no way he doesn't play in the NBA, but I think we sort of, the next step is when he's actually on a team, and right now he's a free agent, and when he's signed and has teammates and has opponents and goes to these arenas, I think we'll know a lot more. But I think the NBA the whole time sort of got a bit of a bad rap, and all of this, I think people really sort of underestimated these athletes. I mean, a lot of them are very young, and we know about so views on sexuality breaking down by generation and by age, and I think I got zero sense of any sort of trepidation from other players.
John, before I let you go, and again, congratulations on just a terrific story and just an amazing, well-told story and a great interview, obviously. Have you gotten any calls from, agents for some NFL football players who want to be next?
There is certainly chatter out there, and I think that, even before this whole issue of an active athlete coming out was definitely in the ether anyway. And I do think there are other athletes that have been considering this, and I got to think that if they saw the response Monday and the sort of overwhelming support, not just calls from the president and appearances on Oprah, from normal people on social media, I got to think if you had been struggling with this or you'd been weighing making this decision and saw how Jason Collins saw the response last Monday, it certainly might encourage you to follow through.
John Wertheim, he is a noted author, senior writer for Sports Illustrated, graduate of Yale and Penn Law School, and also Bloomington High School North, the pride of Bloomington, Indiana, fellow Hoosier. John, thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And again, congratulations.
No, I think you're the pride of Bloomington, but no thanks. Anytime.
We'll argue over that. John Wertheim, thanks again. Take Action News on WEAC Radio continues after this.